Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today with you boys. We always got something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays, and we do have a lot to break down today, everybody. We got some Blue Jays trade updates. We got some rumblings about the biggest remaining free agent hitter on the board, Cody Bellinger. We got some stuff going on with Yoshinobu Yamamoto and more, everybody. So stay tuned for the whole video because we got a lot to break down. I'm your host, Nicholas Playlock.
I'm your host, Adam Peddle, and yes, we got something going on today, some sort of rumblings. You love to hear that. I know some of you don't, actually. Some of you are completely off of the rumor train.
Well, it's a contentious topic.
It is. Anytime when we've been seeing on our social media, and there's no disrespect. I mean, I got hurt really bad by Ohtani, and I hate to bring it up. Some of you don't like to hear that name anymore, but you're all kind of skeptical of anybody being linked to the Blue Jays or any sort of Blue Jays are favored for this guy, but as Blue Jays Today, we got to talk about what's happening kind of behind the scenes and bring it to y'all. And that's exactly what we're going to start with first.
Yo, it's kind of funny, man. I just got to say, it is kind of funny that it's like Shohei Ohtani, it's kind of like Voldemort now. It's
yes.
Like, don't say his name.
Don't say his name.
Say it. Don't bring it up.
I brought him up. I don't know if you brought him up in your video room. I brought him up one time in my video as a joke.
Yeah.
Like, don't get hurt like Ohtani again. Let's not do that again.
Literally.
And then people were like, you guys seriously still talking about him? I was like, bruh, like, how could you not talk about this guy after what he did to you? It literally scarred my life, bro.
It feels like one of those people that just hurt you so bad that it's just better to bury your head in the sand, you know? So for moving forward, everybody, for at least the purposes of this video, he who shall not be named is what we will refer to Mr. Shohei Ohtani as. That's the last time I'm going to say his name. Let's get into the trade rumors, everybody, with the Toronto Blue Jays. Shout out to the 250 people who are watching this video right now, guys. If you haven't already done so, hit the like, smash the subscribe button, folks, and let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Toronto Blue Jays, they have been linked to Jonathan India, second baseman over there on the Cincinnati Reds. Jonathan India, 3 years in the league. First year, phenomenal. Goes out, wins Rookie of the Year. Second year, not so good. Big drop off there. Third year, at least with the bat, relatively good. Not the best, but, decent.
Yeah.
Serviceable numbers there.
Yeah.
For sure. Defensively speaking, atrocious, and we'll get into more of that later.
Yeah.
But still a young kid with lots of potential. Thoughts on Jonathan India, Toronto Blue Jays, potentially pursuing this one?
I'll start with the first part. Thoughts on Jonathan India. I mean, he's a guy who you've got control over him. Maybe his dude. Honestly, like, he's not bad. He honestly, and maybe I'm disrespecting Jonathan India. He actually reminds me a lot of Kevin Biggio. Reminds me a lot because he broke into the league. Great OPS numbers, looked good, looked promising, and then something happened. Something went wrong the next year. His defense was horrible, and then like something else went wrong. This guy's been healthy for most of this time that he's been in the league, but like still like just kind of 769 OPS, good bat. But in terms of going to the Toronto Blue Jays, my first initial thoughts were, and I texted it to you too. I was like, well, do we even need this guy? Because we have Schneider, Biggio, Espinal, who are like all kind of hovering. I'm not saying that they're better than Mr. Jonathan India, but I mean, if you count in the defense, maybe, right? They're just all kind of the same tier players. So, the upgrade of WAR value feels kind of unnecessary to me.
Right.
And that's my kind of thought. So for me personally, I would avoid, getting too deep in those kind of trade conversations.
Well, it's interesting to me that the Toronto Blue Jays are even looking at him. And sure, there's the positional side of things, which you definitely got to factor in. But it really does boil down to the defense for me. Like, I'm kind of just shocked that they're looking at his player profile and getting interested in it because their whole thing last offseason was defense, run prevention. We want to limit the amount of runs that are coming in for our pitchers. We want low-scoring ball games that we can win. Jonathan India is, by all intents and purposes, the worst starting second baseman, defensively speaking, in the entire MLB. I was looking at some highlights today of what he does on the diamond.
Bro,
it was disgusting.
Dude, okay, first of all, like I think we may have saw the same one.
Sure.
There was one where he gets it's an easy roller. You don't have to do anything fancy. It's like he's overthinking, thinking he's a big leaguer. You just pick it up and you got to throw it over to first base, back foot, throw. It's really not a hard
standard play.
It's standard. The guy's jogging down from first base. It's nothing crazy, right? He literally, like, scoops it. He's on the run. He thinks he's, like, an elite shortstop making a great play, and he just airmails it. I'm like, what the hell? You could have took your time and just made it an easy throw. So, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Why the hell would they even go be looking for that guy? That's a mystery to me. I can't even answer that, bro.
It's just
why the hell are you even doing this,
bro?
It's
a weird player profile for these guys to be interested in because, as I said, like, they really prioritize the defense. And I was looking at the errors.
Yeah.
I mean, even in his Rookie of the Year season, led the league at second base anyways in errors. Did not lead the league last year because he was injured for a short time.
Right.
So he only had slightly under 400 at-bats. But then once again, led the league last year at second base in errors. And I mean, we'll get into the bat. I do have some thoughts surrounding like the offensive side of things. But just defensively speaking, I have some fucking nightmares of Gavin Biggio over at third base, or Espinal, or wherever it is, fielding the ball and then relaying it to Jonathan India at second base, who then has to make a double play and relay the ball over to Guerrero at first base. Like, that does not seem to be a sound infield defensively to me.
The only reason I could possibly think of the Blue Jays even wanting this guy is, yes, the bat, we're going to get into that, is it's decent. It's an average bat, right? Like, but unless you think you're going to change this guy defensively, like, if you look at him like, oh, like, maybe they see what I see, and they're like, why are you trying so hard, bro? Like, why are you actually trying so hard with your, like, to do some sort of fancy footwork? You're 60 feet away from first base. You don't need to throw it that hard or that sidearm or slanted or whatever, right? So unless they see something like that, I don't really see it happening. Plus, again, with the bat, we're going to talk about it in just a moment, but, like, man, like, there's not much more of an improvement, and what are you going to have to trade for this guy? Probably a good chunk because of the control you have on it.
Well, let's get into that in a sec. Quick shout out to Michael Goodridge here. He who shall not be named is on the shit list, like Morosi. If I hear his names again, it's 1 week, no donuts.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, there you have it, man. The gauntlet has been thrown, so be careful with what you're saying. Thank you so much for the donation there. Jonathan India, as Adam was just alluding to there, does have a lot of time left. I think he's got, 3 or 4 years left on his deal. Yeah. Now, I will say this, and this is what's intriguing to me. His value's got to be low, because you walk into these negotiations with the Cincinnati Reds, who are probably not going to be competitive next year, right? You walk into these negotiations and you tell them, dude, this is literally the worst defensive second baseman in the entire league. We cannot be giving up a whole lot to get this done. There is upside, though. The guy still won Rookie of the Year. I do think that Jonathan India showed the league that he is capable of becoming a good player. He's just kind of been down on his luck and hasn't been able to rectify that or repeat that, in following years. He's only 27, so we still got some time left. In my opinion, I think you go out and you make a trade like this, but it all depends on what it is that you need to give up, right? Because if the price tag is one of the top prospects, I think I'm out. No, I'm not interested.
No disrespect to Jonathan India, but it's chump change at this point. Was what I'd be giving for Jonathan India. He's a project now because you're hoping he could play like Rookie of the Year 2021, Jonathan India with an 835 OPS, but that's all hopeful thinking, right? And we always use the argument like he's 27, he's still young, he has time, but like. And again, not to crap on Varsho, because I'm going to make the same argument for him. He has a little bit of time. Maybe he figures it out in the next few years, but we're rolling the dice already with Dalton Varsho. Now we're going to roll the dice again with a Jonathan India in a trade. It just feels like too many dice rolls for me right now. In an area, again, I'll say it again, that isn't really necessary. We already have a bunch of dice rolls with Schneider and Biggio and Espinal. Like, why are we adding another dice roll?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's kind of like, hey, we already have a bunch of dudes who could hit here. We got a bunch of dart throws. I mean, who's to say that Davis Schneider can't be as good as you were last year and be better defensively, right? I could totally buy into the fact that Davis Schneider next year potentially puts up the same offensive numbers that Jonathan India did last year, 740 OPS. I could see that happening, and maybe is better defensively, right? But we never know that if we have to trade him and we have to trade others when acquiring Jonathan India. You kind of miss out on that opportunity to see.
Look, if we had no second baseman, hell yeah. I'd give it a roll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hell, when we were thinking about Dalton Varsho, I was like, let's give this guy a roll. We have no lefties that can hit for power. We need an outfielder. We need better defense. I was cool with, at the time, rolling the dice on Dalton Varsho. Damn, it cost a lot.
Yeah.
And rest in peace to Lourdes as a Blue Jay kind of hopes. But, like, we gave up a lot for that. But that's we took the dice roll. I don't want to do it again, especially not in this position.
Right. So I think where we're at right now, everybody, and let us know your thoughts in the comments down below about a potential Jonathan India trade. You go out, you do it, only if the price is right. And I think even if you do it, I mean, depending on who it is that you have to give up, because if you have to give up Davis Schneider, then it kind of solves the problem for you. But even if you do it, I don't think that this guy's job is secured for the whole year, assuming we hold on to the rest of the second baseman here, But I also don't see a reality where you trade for him and hold on to all those second basemen. I think one of them's got to go, in the deal if you make something like that happen.
But that's interesting because who the Reds even want in return? If you're looking at it like, I mean, obviously prospects, but like if maybe you make another trade with another team to get rid of one of those second basemen, because it feels weird to be like, oh, let's get Jonathan India, and then take Kevin Biggio. He's got 2 years left.
Yeah.
That doesn't really make sense. It kind
of feels like a literal lateral move going on there. It's just like, why would they're both dice rolls right now.
Exactly.
They both could be good. They both could be bad. You might as well just hold on to your guy who's got an additional year if you're the Cincinnati Reds. For the Toronto Blue Jays, you might as well just hold on to your guy and hope that he plays the way that he did in the last 2 months of baseball.
It just doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, I'm cool if Jonathan India plays some third base and you saw some potential in that third base glove, sure, but this guy, no way, hell.
Actually, the more that we're talking about it right now, I feel like the only thing that makes sense is if Davis Schneider's involved in the trade.
Right.
Because then you're giving them
a bunch of years
of control and maybe the promise of somebody develop. Like, I feel like it'd have to be a Davis Schneider and something, and that's the only thing that can make sense, right? Because you're right. Kevin Biggio going the other direction, that just doesn't add up.
But then here's another thing. Why even add Davis Schneider in the equation? I want to roll some dice on some Davis Schneider for a young, cheap control. You know what I mean? India's going to get to his arbitration year soon. If you give me Schneider, If
you believe that you can turn Jonathan India, I'll put it this way: if you believe that you can turn Jonathan India back into the Rookie of the Year guy that he was, if you can replicate those numbers, go out, get it done, right? If the coaching staff knows that they can do that, okay, make it happen.
Right.
But if not, I don't think that you make that trade.
Do you trust this Blue Jays hitting staff?
Hell no.
No,
dude.
I don't. I don't fucking trust these guys.
In fact, you know what? Yeah,
what are we talking about?
Whatever Guillermo Martinez is saying, don't listen, Ross. Yeah. I don't believe it. You shouldn't believe it, man. Not based off of what we saw last year.
No, it's not going to happen. He's going to come here. He's going to bat 720 with he's batting average 720 OPS. Batting average number is going to go way low. Defense, it'll take 3 years, but we'll get there.
Yeah, for real, dude. Those are our thoughts on Jonathan India, everybody. You let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Shout out to the 400 people who are watching this stream right now, everybody. We appreciate all of y'all tuning in on this Tuesday evening. If you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button, guys. We are so close to 22,000 subscribers. We would love to get there by the end of the stream. That'd be phenomenal. Let's give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. Whoa! Time for your daily Betway breather. A quick reminder that the best place to bet is on Betway. Must be 19 years of age or older to play. In collaboration with iGaming Ontario, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content. Shout out to Betway, everybody. They are absolutely phenomenal, folks. And it should be noted that the Toronto Blue, that your Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, way. They are now favorites for Cody Bellinger.
Wow!
As if we haven't gone down that road before and got absolutely punished. Everybody, wait right here.
Are you getting the bottle again?
Yes, I am.
Are we going to open it if we end up getting Bellinger?
Yes, I am.
Oh my gosh.
We are.
If those who know, we had this bottle ready to go for Ohtani. Now
No, for he who shall not be named.
Oh, god damn. Sorry, Michael.
For real.
I screwed up, bro.
Listen, this was the he who shall not be named bottle. This is now the Cody Bellinger bottle. Let's just plop that guy right over there, everybody.
This is traumatizing me. I mean, we'll keep it here.
Yeah.
You went and got it, but it is traumatizing me because I look over there and I saw hope. I saw a future. And now I'm scarred.
Listen, man.
I'm scarred,
We're
bro.
all the way back, okay? I'm ready to get hurt again. We got a report coming out today, everybody, that the Toronto Blue Jays are favorites for Cody Bellinger.
No!
Now, listen, we got to preface all of this, folks. We got to preface every single piece of information that comes out from these insiders. And just let you know, take it with a grain of salt. Because we know what happened. And I even heard something recently. Did you hear that people came out and said that Yamamoto has offers of $300 million.
Yeah, I did see that, yeah.
Then they came out today and said, or Jeff Passan came out today and said, nope, that's not true. Yep. People jumped the gun. So it's just this offseason has been continuous misinformation from the people who should know what they're talking about. So this could be all one leveraging scheme of misinformation.
That's exactly it.
But we're going to take it. And we're gonna enjoy it.
Well, that's the thing. I actually don't. When I saw this, I genuinely didn't feel any joy. You know what I saw? I said, "Oh, this is gonna be a great thing to put in our title later, right?" Because maybe some people will enjoy it, but I'm gonna say my 2 cents. Like, this literally means nothing to me. This means nothing. Yes, let's get it done, Ross. If you're the favorites, have your best offer. What I need to see is like, Blue Jays have best offer on the table. Bellinger may be deciding soon. Like, if I see that, like, okay, give me something tangible. What does it mean? Emerge as favorites. Like, what? Maybe the agent said to Bob, yeah, it looks like we're really considering the Blue Jays. But again, that for me is just leveraging, because he's going to include that somewhere. He knows that we're going to pick up this and we're going to broadcast this, and the Cubs are going to go, oh, we got to throw in an offer. It's all leveraging at this point. I need to see Cody Bellinger making his decision. It looks like it's going to be the Blue Jays or something along those lines. Because, I don't get any joy from this.
Listen, man, those are words from somebody who has been hurt before, right? This is not your first rodeo. This is not my first rodeo. So I do hear where you're coming from there. But I am going to walk down the rabbit hole and say that this would save the offseason, folks.
Yes, it would.
This would save the offseason. I know we've been talking about it, and a lot of people on Twitter have been talking about the lack of moves from Ross Atkins, from this Blue Jays management. And when you go back and when you watch, because I just did this recently, I went back and I watched that Mark Shapiro end-of-year press conference, and in that you got a bunch of juicy clips coming out there saying, I trust Ross, I believe he's done a great job, I think he's going to make this team better, I think that we want to get better, that we would like to win 90 games next year, we're not going into a rebuild. These are all things that he said. He said the payroll would stay roughly the same, that means we have $40 to $50 million, and then he also said that he wants to sustain the opportunity to win. Cody Bellinger coming in here would be absolutely massive to get that done, folks. I was looking at Kevin Kiermaier, looking at the numbers, and just apples to apples, right? Kevin Kiermaier had a 741 OPS last year.
For sure.
Cody Bellinger comes in, he takes that role. Now you have an 880 OPS just based on last year's stats. That swing is big.
Yeah, it is a big swing, and like we've said before, I would love it. But again, Mark Shapiro could say all this stuff. He could say all these things, but maybe Bellinger isn't that route. Maybe he goes down the same route we did last year, and it's like, I got a 1-year deal here, I got a 1-year deal here, I got a 1 year. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think he does that.
It's not even up to Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins at the end of the day. Like, they can target all these guys all they want, but it's up to them in the end of the day, right?
I hear what you're saying, dude. But okay, seriously though, do you think that there's actually reality where Cody Bellinger signs a 1-year deal?
No. I'm talking about like signing a 1-year deal.
Other guys.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say no, because this dude, from what we've heard anyways, and again, take it with a grain of salt, guys. This is all insider stuff. They might not know anything, but the rumored contract is 200 plus, potentially.
250,
is that what it is? Yeah,
200 plus is what John Heyman came out and said. But yeah, we've even heard like 250 plus. I wouldn't be shocked if it's 250. And at this point, again, like, God, like, if I was okay with dropping 600 or even 700 mil on he who shall not be named, screw it. He's a bit of a dice roll, yes. He could be really bad or he could be really good. We got 2 years of this window with Bo and Vlad. Let's roll some more dice, baby. And at least this dice roll, it's off of a good recency. He's been doing it as of late, and maybe he does it again because he's done it so late. And this dice roll, if it hits, it's going to change your entire team. Yeah. Give me that dice roll.
I think for me, with the Cody Bellinger stuff, because I've been flip-flopping back and forth on do I want this guy, do I not? Because the price tag is so hefty, right? And we are talking about big numbers here. We're talking about maybe the biggest contract that the Toronto Blue Jays have ever had in the history of their franchise, right? That's what we're talking about here if you get Cody Bellinger. And do we want Cody Bellinger, who has had 3 relatively horrendous seasons or 2 horrendous seasons, 1 very average season under his belt? Do we really want that guy to be the guy that we put in the history books as the Toronto Blue Jays' biggest offseason acquisition? I will say I'm good with it if you structure the deal in a way where you have opt-outs, where you have, where 3 years down the line, it's a conversation now. Where,
I like that.
Where maybe you can front load the contract a little bit more, because I know if he's getting paid $200 to $250, you're looking at what, 8, 9, 10 years maybe. That's a lot of time, and I don't think that I want to be paying $25 million for 39-year-old Cody Bellinger, right?
Yeah, I mean, hey, actually, not a bad idea would be to front load that contract. I don't know if you do add an option though. I don't know if you option for later down the line, because he may not be like the idea of that the club could pick up an option, or maybe it's a player option, right? Because I think it more likely would be a player option, because if you front load it and then add a club option later, then it's like less. It's kind of like, ugh, what if I don't want to be with this team? You know what I mean?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I think you got to concoct a deal yourselves with the Toronto Blue Jays and say, this is what we're comfortable with, because I don't think as a fan, as somebody watching this and looking at his history, I don't know if I would be comfortable giving 10 years of $250 million guaranteed. I think there's got to be something in there from a club standpoint being, look, we got to see some type of production for this deal to reach its maximum potential, because, again, Cody Bellinger, and even just from a performance standpoint, there's been bad performances. He's also had a lot of injuries too. Right. So like you kind of want to structure the deal in the standpoint where you're not going to be completely screwed over if this guy is keeps getting hurt or something.
Well, I mean, hey, maybe a good idea, and I know it's not sexy, because what if you backload it and the player options, are a little bit later? That might incentivize them a little bit more to sign now. You could backload it, because if you think about where our payroll is set up right now, we got to pay a lot of guys right now. So then maybe you lessen it for this year's, and then later on when a lot of guys come off the book, you have him. Maybe some player options, like $30 million on average.
Right.
I mean, yeah, like it would be his option. At the end of the day, if he takes that sucks. But it's like it would be harder for him to turn down if he was really good.
That's true. No, that's very true. I mean, there's multiple ways to go about doing this. I think that you gotta make the deal to your liking, though, especially because, and this is something that we haven't really been discussing, because we want Cody Bellinger on this team. We want to win a chip. We want to go to the postseason. We want to win a goddamn game in the postseason. But if you get this guy, it does mean see you later. Thank you for playing, Bo or Vlad. You're not getting back both of those guys if you sign Cody Bellinger to a $250 million contract.
Well, maybe I won't speak for you, but I feel like we've kind of come to the conclusion that we're probably not getting both of them back.
Like at this point?
At this point.
You think that's like probably locked in?
Even if we don't sign Bellinger, I feel like we're probably not going to get both of them back. Again, like that's two major dudes, $200, $300 million. That's like could be between $500 and $600 million, maybe. It depends on how Vlad does this year. But you already know Bo's locking in for $250 at least at this rate, right? So what's Vlad going to want? I don't know. But it's going to be tough to get back both of them at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, I could even see Bo Bichette. I think we kind of criminally underrate Bo Bichette in terms of monetary value.
Oh, God.
I don't see a whole lot of difference between him and like a Frankie Lindor, and Frankie Lindor signed for, I think it was $340 what he signed with the New York Mets. And like, again, okay, maybe he's a little bit better defensively, but like Bo's been getting better defensively too. He's always been consistent with the bat. I would argue that Bo Bichette's even better offensively than Frankie Lindor was. I could see Bo making $300, $330.
Dude, Bo's the best hitter in the American League in terms of average. He's the best
in terms of just total hits.
Yeah, just hits. Yeah. This guy is the best hitter in the American League. Like once Luis Arias left, the Twins, he became the best hitter, right? And hell, he any given year he has a chance to be the best hitter in the MLB.
Yeah.
Right? So, man, you pay that guy $250 for sure. And
more than that, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think he would absolutely he would definitely fight for that $300.
Sure,
$350.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, you're not going to get back both. And again, that conversation could absolutely change July of this upcoming year. Depending if Vlad's in an MVP race. You're like, oh shit, what do we do? Great problem to have, but again, I think going back to Cody Bellinger, it's important to get this guy now. And yeah, maybe add some options later, but you need him in this window to maximize your chance to win.
Yeah, I mean, the more that I watch this team, the more that I just engage in sports in general, right? It's like we could have these conversations and you always want to plan for the future, but nothing's guaranteed, right? I mean, we don't even know... Maybe this is blasphemous to say. We don't even know if Guerrero or Bichette are going to be good in 2 years, right? So, I mean, you're having these conversations talking about, okay, well, we want to extend them. We want to pay them all this money. What if they're bad, right? And you miss out on signing some of these other free agents because you're planning for that inevitable eventuality. And it's like, oh, wait, like, actually, no, we don't want to give you all this money. We don't want to build around you.
There could be a legitimate reality, and again, maybe it's blasphemous to say as well, but where Vladdy just will never be him again. He'll be a mid 700 to maybe 1 year he'll get back to the 800 mark. He'll just be a guy. You know what I mean? And with always the hope and potential of being him. I hope not, God, I hope not, but I think that's a thing we got to address a little bit later down the line.
Well, I will tell you this, okay? To speak on that, I agree with what you're saying, but have you seen his Instagram?
Oh, I know, I have.
Because they're getting better. They're getting better, dude.
Look, again, he looked good in 2021 coming off, and we saw all the pictures. He's looking good again. I think I'm just still hurt by he who shall not be named. I just don't want to get my hopes up. I hope he can do it. Mm-hmm. It's been 2 years. We'll see what happens, man. Yeah. If he does it, then we have a great problem on our hands.
Yeah, what we're referring to, folks, is like on his Instagram right now, this guy is posting updates on updates about him just being in the gym. And recently, he did one of these. Yeah. He had a picture like this.
He looked pretty.
The upper body, even like everything about him. Great. I was like, dude, this might be the fittest Vladimir Guerrero Jr. that I have ever seen.
And he's, 25 now? Or 24, 25? Like, he's starting to get into the adult man body now.
For real. No, I mean, you'd think that most players in baseball anyways, like, you really see, like, the muscle and the power take over when they are 25, 26, 27. Yeah. Like, that is going to be when they could have their massive home run years. Like, I think the Guerrero could be in for a massive season. I know we got to gear ourselves up for failure, but I'm going to put it out there right now saying I think 40 bombs could be well within the range of outcomes.
Oh, God. Don't do it to me, Nick.
Yeah,
don't do it to me, man.
Shout out to the person that just subscribed, by the way, everybody. If you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button, folks. We're so close to 22,000 subscribers, and we'd love to get there. Let's give a quick shout-out here to another sponsor of this video. There's actually a big giveaway.
Time for covered bridge potato chips. Made with ingredients from the St. John River Valley and cooked carefully in a local factory. They've got tons of great flavors like smoke and barbecue, sea salt, and sour cream and onion. Get a taste of this delicious flavor cooked the old-fashioned way. Now, back to the content.
Yes. Thank you, Adam, for telling us that. But anyways, there's also a big giveaway, everybody. Yeah, there's a big giveaway right now. Head over to our Instagram. You go follow them, like up the thing, tag a few of your friends and stuff. You could be entered to win a bunch of awesome stuff.
Yeah, you can win some chips, a shirt, another thing that they haven't even named. It's a secret prize. But yeah, you got to go to our Instagram. Yeah, you gotta comment 2 friends. Mm-hmm. You gotta like it up, and then you gotta follow Coverbridge. All the instructions are there on our Instagram. Links in the description, guys. Go check it out.
Super duper easy, guys. So shout out to Coverbridge for sponsoring the boys. Let's move on, everybody, and talk a little bit about Yoshinobu Yamamoto. This is a dude who the Blue Jays have been rumored to be in on. Although, I mean, if we're trying to temper our expectations right now, if we're trying to keep our expectations down, this is somebody who I really do believe that at this point, like, we don't have hope.
For me, it's a 0% chance. It's 0. There's so many other clubs in the mix.
I haven't seen our name on the pie charts.
Oh, shout out to Robbie Hyde. Shout out to Robbie Hyde, because he's a Red Sox fan. They've been kind of linked to him as well, so he's been kind of keeping track of all the rumors. I haven't seen Blue Jays there.
No.
The Blue Jays have not been there.
We've been labeled as finalists, but if anything is going to be used as leverage, it is this in this conversation. I believe that the Blue Jays probably met with this guy once, maybe twice, but at the end of the day, you got Mets, you got Yankees, you got Dodgers, you got Red Sox, you got all of these dudes in on him to potentially be their future ace.
You have Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets, who, for those who don't know, having dinner with him. And then I think he's even having dinner with him twice now. Yeah. They're like, what the hell? Like, dude, Ohtani didn't get this. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, Michael. He who shall not be named didn't even get this kind of treatment that we know of.
I heard that Steve Cohen, and again, this is insider stuff, so take it with a grain of salt. I heard that Steve Cohen flew out to Japan to meet with this guy personally, right? So I know that, like, Steve Cohen, when we've seen Steve Cohen before, when he gets in on a guy, when he gets in on somebody, it is hard to pry away that dude from his jaws. Yep. However, I would love for him to go to the New York Mets.
Me too.
Because that would stop him from going to the New York Yankees.
That's the last thing that we need. Or the Red Sox. We don't need an extra loss a year from this guy. Yeah, hey, look, go to the Mets. Hey, and this actually, just speaking from a Mets standpoint, this is great for the Mets. I mean, look, you traded away a lot of your guys last year. You're trying to go through a rebuild. Why not rebuild? Essentially, this dude's just a big prospect.
Yes.
Spend all the money on this guy. You know you want to do it. You know you can do it. And treat him like a prospect. He's 25, and he's going to be good for you maybe down the line.
I completely agree, dude. I've been seeing some people's rankings come out of, like, the starting pitchers for next year, and this is just people's opinions. But Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who has literally never thrown a pitch in the MLB, is kind of consensusly in everybody's top 10.
Yeah,
which is wild to say, right? But if the New York Yankees were to acquire Yoshinobu Yamamoto, that they would have that guy with Garrett Cole, with Carlos Rodon, who I will tell you are all on the power rankings, dude. Yeah. That is not a trio that I need to see anytime soon.
Go to the Mets, go to the Phillies, go to the NL.
Sure.
Just go over there.
Yeah.
Oh, hell. I would hate it, but go to the Dodgers.
Go to the Dodgers.
Go to the Dodgers, I mean, man. That makes the most sense.
It literally makes the most sense, and at the end of the day, like, worst comes to worst, we see you in the World Series. We probably lose, but at least we made the World Series. It was a good year. At that point.
Yo, speaking of which, I don't know if you saw, I wish I had the tweet here. Mm-hmm. It was probably a Dodgers analyst. I'm not 100% sure, but someone saying it was a screenshot of MLB Network, last 10 years of the Dodgers, and it's like, their records and what their season ended in the postseason. It was like, lost in the NLDS, lost NLCS, lost World Series, won World Series. And this guy tweeted saying, I don't care what any of y'all think, this last 10 years has been like hell. And I was like, bro, are you kidding me? If I get to the World Series this year and we lose, what a celebration I will have had. I've been like, you know what? We tried. We made it somewhere, but you won a World Series and went to you went there 4 times. I'm sure that's heartbreaking going there 4 times. But you still won one. Who cares?
Yeah.
And you're going to probably win one the next 10 years, too.
If you guys had no chips to your name during that decade of time, then maybe I could understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I do look back on, and I imagine if there's any football fans in here, the fact that the Buffalo Bills went to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row, did not win. I would imagine, even though all of those seasons were exciting, you remember all of those, you would kind of want to forget them too, because it's just that heartbreaking. But everything led up to you winning the World Series. Yeah. And you have also had competitive baseball to watch for over a decade, you cannot say about many other teams.
You've gotten the guys you wanted. You traded for Mookie and signed him. You got Freddie Freeman. You got to watch Kershaw. Like, damn, like, and Walker Buehler taking his place. Like, you got everything you possibly wanted.
In fact, I would go so far to say that there is almost not a better, like, the only better franchise that you might want to watch in the last decade would be the Houston Astros.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
And, maybe the Braves, but they've really only started to pick it up recently. So it's like, I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
I have no clue, bro. It's been hell. You know what? It's been hell watching the Blue Jays. I'll say that. It's been exciting at times, but recently it's been hell.
Yeah, for real.
Getting swept 0-6 in the playoffs. That's hell.
Last 5 years, the Blue Jays has been
0-6. Horrible. Really horrible.
Rough. Let's move on to a former Blue Jay, everybody. Shout out to Lourdes Gurriel Jr. The Lord.
Do we have it?
Do we have it? The Lord. Pray to the Lord, everybody. I'm sick by this deal. It's disgusting. By this contract, everybody. The fact that the Toronto Blue Jays were not in the mix for the Lord, who got paid $42 million for 3 years.
That's just
That's gross, man. Well, that's gross. Like, shout out for getting the bag, but, like, I'll be honest, I would have told the Toronto Blue Jays to give you way more of a bag than that.
I would have given him $18 million a year. I would have given him $18 million a year.
1,000%.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
$18 million a year. Yeah, no, this is a great example of why sometimes a trade can come around and bite you in the ass, because what does he do? He gets traded to Arizona, goes to the World Series, gets the best exposure of his life, probably settles down, loves it there in Glendale, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to settle down. I'm going to sign back here. Great time. Hell, I'll take a little bit of a discount too. I'll sign for $14 million. First offer on the table. I'm humble. I'll take that money and I'll walk away. Whereas if he was with the Blue Jays, sure, maybe you don't go to the World Series. Maybe win a playoff game with him. Who knows, right? I think he goes and he signs back with the Jays for another 3 years. Right. It's just based on where does he want to play at the time. And I think that really could have hurt the Jays.
Yeah, I mean, I do miss having Lourdes Gurriel Jr. a lot, and I completely understand for all those people out there who say you can't fully evaluate a trade until 4 or 5 years down the line. But everyone knows at this point that for at least year one, it was a loss, right? And the fact that they were able to hold on to Lourdes Gurriel Jr., like, credit where credit is due to the Diamondbacks organization for getting that down. They know quality when they see it. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is quality. But it begs the question, dude, Toronto Blue Jays, why are we not necessarily in the conversations for some of these smaller guys like this? And I know that it's not up to Ross and Mark where they inevitably go. It's up to, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. could have decided, he could have had an offer on the table from the Toronto Blue Jays and turned it down and said, no, I'm going to Arizona. But you're starting to see some of these smaller dudes go off the board a little bit in a contract like that. I don't think that necessarily stops you from being in on the big fish. If anything, it just provides more depth, gives you an opportunity to make this team, as you wanted to make it, better this offseason. So I'm getting not overly worried, but maybe a little bit worried that we're not going out and we're just getting these complimentary moves.
I mean, it's worrisome when options leave. But it also, you could look at another way where it's like, okay, well, these options are leaving, so maybe that makes it more definitive, like we're definitely going to be going out and getting this guy. So you can see it in kind of two different ways. Like maybe we really are trying to get Bellinger, and then we're like, you know what, let's not get Lourdes yet, because maybe Bellinger, not that Lourdes would like take Bellinger's job, but still, like you want to prioritize that guy and then build pieces around him first, because Lourdes deserves to start every single day. And if you got Springer, Varsho, Bellinger, him, it's like then there's a bit of a complications. I mean, in our mind, it's easy. Varsho's on the bench, but for the Blue Jays, they don't want him on the bench.
Well, and I agree with you there, right? Maybe Lourdes Gurriel Jr. wasn't the right guy for you because you're going to go out and you're going to get Cody Bellinger. But I do think that I want to start seeing very soon some of these smaller moves, a little 1 year here, a little 2 year here, 2 year 20 mil, something like that, for a pitcher or a bullpen guy or anything like that, right? Because sure, you can still be in on Cody Bellinger. You don't go out, you don't get Teoscar Hernandez right now. He's the backup plan. But go and get some of those complementary pieces in other areas where you need them.
Dude, give me Teoscar. I think you could go out and you could sign Teoscar. Honestly, I'll probably take that back a little bit. You got a DH spot open right now, right? Like no belt. DH spot right now for us is being used as utility. Sign just anybody and be like, look, if worst comes to worst, like this guy will just be our DH. Sure. Or actually, best comes to worst, whatever that means. Yeah. Right? You go out and you get your big boy like Bellinger. Throw that guy in the DH spot. Like, you have him cycle in every now and then. If he's a good bat, and he's like Jock Pederson, I think of. You got Michael Brantley, Teoscar Hernandez. Put him there, man. Like, that's going to help your team in the end of the day.
Yeah, because right now, just to go off of what you're saying, the DH spot, that's going to be one of the catchers locked in. In our lineup
as of
right now, we have both of the catchers playing every day, which, based on their injury track records, is not going to happen, folks. One of them is going to get hurt at one period of time, just based on their history. That's going to happen. So that's not going to be something that's going on all year. We also have Biggio and Schneider at starting roles, both in the lineup, and we got Nathan Lucas in the lineup, in our starting lineup. That's what Toronto Blue Jays lineup looks like. So there is absolutely holes that you can fill, and going out and getting a complimentary piece like a Pederson, like a Teoscar Hernandez, like a Michael Brantley, somebody who's not going to break the bank, I think it helps solidify your standing. So if you do miss out on Cody Bellinger, which God forbid we don't want to have happen, but if you do, then you're not sitting there going, oh crap, we put all our eggs into this basket, and now we're left here and there's not a whole lot of guys left.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, who would you go out right now? I'm just kind of curious because we've thrown out names all the time like Teoscar and Jock Pederson. I just threw out right there. Yeah. Like who would you go easily grab right now if you could?
I think the first thing that you should be doing is, because there are still some holes in the bullpen, go out and pick a guy up. I don't even know who it is.
Exactly.
Because the Toronto Blue Jays, they have a tendency to go out and get these kind of no-name bullpen guys, and typically they can convert them and make them usable. Go out and get that done. Sign them to a 4-year deal for all I care.
Yeah,
right.
Hey, Aaron Luke. That's what Gigi said.
Sure. Why not? Whatever, man. Right. Just go out and do that and give yourself options, because right now, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, are we missing 2 bullpen spots? Open right now?
Potentially. I actually haven't looked at the bullpen in a long time. I've been looking just at Bellinger. There's one, because we got rid of Simber and we lost Hicks. Yeah. So we're down one.
Yeah, and Jay Jackson's gone too.
Yeah, Jay Jackson's gone.
Right, so hell, sign back Jay Jackson, right? I know they're not going to do that, but they should.
I wish. I love Jay Jackson. I'd bring this guy back.
1,000%.
1 year?
Yeah, I don't care. Go out and make that happen. Or go find a Ross Stripling. Where are the Ross? I'm sure that there is somebody out there who has length and who can also potentially play in the bullpen. Give him a 1 year for $8 million.
Sure.
That's not going to hurt you in your pursuit for Cody Bellinger. In fact, it might even help you.
Scott's saying, go get Josh Hader. That's a different conversation.
Yeah,
I don't think that's what Nick's talking about here.
Absolutely go get Josh Hader. But I'm just saying, go and get some complimentary pieces, right? They're not going to hurt you in your pursuit for the big guy, but they're going to help solidify your standing as a squad and just give you some more depth so that maybe you can go make a trade because now you have this guy waiting in the wings who wants to play. Or maybe you just play him. Maybe just pay him and play him and hope that it's a Marcus Semien situation. 1-year deals, they don't always work out. But sometimes you get a Brandon Belt, sometimes you get a Marcus Semien, and it looks pretty good.
Well, let me ask you on the position player side of things, who would you want to bring in that could potentially break out?
I keep saying, and I know we've talked about it too, Justin Turner feels like a good fit for me.
Where are the conversations on Justin Turner? Why aren't those getting louder?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That feels like a really good fit to me, especially if you do want to go out and get Cody Bellinger. Well, let's face it, you're not getting Bellinger and Matt Chapman. You're not getting both of them.
See, here's my fear too. I would grab Turner first over Matt Chapman, me personally, but the Jays are probably leaving themselves open. Okay, we got to wait for Bellinger, and then, then if we miss on him, then we're going to go for Chapman. So then by that time, Turner's gone.
Yeah.
And we're running into the exact same problem where, I love being in all the big guys, but if we miss, we're going to fall and hit the ground really hard because we're going to wake up and realize, damn, we literally have nobody and all the good options to fill the holes are gone now.
Yeah. Kyle Duffield says, Turner, you guys are clowns. Let's pull up the numbers. Let's pull up the numbers, guy.
Man.
Yeah, please explain to us why you wouldn't necessarily want to have this veteran who has been to the World Series before.
1 year.
Who is, literally 1 year.
I'm not asking a whole lot.
For no money. Just to potentially save you if you do miss out on Matt Chapman or others. The guy had an 800 OPS last year, Kyle.
276.
What about him don't you want to have necessarily on? And this is just in case you don't get Matt Chapman or somebody else.
Drove in 96 runs last year, scored 86 times on the Boston Red Sox.
No, it's a clown take to not want this guy necessarily on your team. I mean, the guy won a World Series too.
Yeah, I like this guy.
Absolutely.
Look, and I get it. He's old. That's why everyone doesn't want him. Oh, he's old. Okay, well, he still did it. Until he stops doing it, look, here's the beautiful thing about Justin Turner is if he sucks next year and you sign him to a 1-year deal, bench him.
Yeah.
Cut him. Do whatever you want. Who cares, right? Just bring up somebody else like Barger if you want. That's your plan B, but this is your Band-Aid for now. And hey, if he's still good like he is, keep playing him.
That's all it is.
Keep driving in runs.
It's
just driving more runs.
Just a Band-Aid solution. I still want them to go out and get the big fish. I think that they are capable of doing it, and considering what everything, all of the conversations that are happening about trading for India, we didn't even talk about this, but looking at maybe Max Kepler or somebody else, going after Bellinger, there is going to be stuff that goes down. I would like to see some of it start happening relatively soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to. I got a feeling, damn, bro, we're probably not. We got to see Bellinger go first, man.
Well, I did see, I saw an article come out today. I apologize, I don't know who wrote it, but effectively looking at history and saying the Blue Jays have a tendency to make a lot of moves around the holiday time.
They do. I mean, Ryu, you look at the trade for Varsho last year, right? Those are all those holiday. Bassett, I don't remember when exactly he came. I think it was after the holidays. I can't remember.
Can't remember either.
But
I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason to that, but potentially, the way that they structure their offseason, they do all their research, they do all their stuff, and then, mid to late December, they go, okay, we're going to lock it the hell in. We got a few donations we got to get to right now. Shout out to Bone 6000 for the $6.99 dono saying, this just in, Jays inquiring on every 8 to 39-year-old on the planet.
Me too.
For real.
Turn on me.
Deep Dive Jays, are we still in on Willie Adames? Well, if we're in on every 8 to 39-year-old on the planet, then yeah.
Probably.
Honestly, I could see us.
I could absolutely see it, yeah. I mean, if we're in on Yelich, you're probably talking about Adames too.
And shout out to Michael Borland with the $6.99 saying, personally, I believe the improvement is more likely coming from trades. It's very possible.
Maybe,
there's been a ton of rumors surrounding trades and acquisitions this entire offseason, so I could completely believe that is the route that they're going to go down if, of course, they don't want to spend all the money.
Yeah, well, we're not going to talk about it in this podcast, but tomorrow, guys, we're going to have a podcast coming out at 10 a.m., and it's going to be talking about these potential trades with the Twins.
Yeah.
You had John Morrissey. I know everyone's not happy with John Morrissey, and when I made a tweet about it, everyone's like, don't trust this guy. He'll just say whatever he wants, and I hear you, bro. I hear you. But he connected the Jays with maybe a twin trade. So that could be something there.
Potentially.
Well, yeah.
Folks, let us know what you think about all this in the comments down below. Thank you so much to everybody who has watched, who has liked, who has subscribed to the channel, guys. Blue Jays today, very close to 22,000 subscribers. So if you're rewatching this, please hit the subscribe button if you enjoy the Blue Jays content.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for watching.
And as always,
go Jays, go!